Today is Thursday, December 14th, and Mary and I were just wondering if you'd enjoy hearing about one of our favorite places in the world, Iceland.
Yes.
And now, a word from our title sponsor.
Are all financial advisors fiduciaries? Fewer than you think. Not knowing could reduce your lifestyle. Hi, I'm Mitch Kramer, founder and CEO of Fluent Financial. A fiduciary is a regulatory term to reduce conflicts of interest in wealth management. A fiduciary always works in your best interest. A non-fiduciary advisor might put their compensation or company ahead of yours. At Fluent Financial, we are certified financial planners acting as fiduciary advisors. To learn more, go to fluentfinancial.com or Fluent Financial's YouTube channel.
Now, you listening may not be in charge of purchasing seasonings for your home, but you do know what tastes good, really good. Goodness Steak Seasoning is terrific. No sugar, no MSG, no gluten, great flavor. Get Goodness Steak Seasoning by going to the website bringthetasty.com. Oh, hail. No, I'm not cursing. That's the name of a terrific Dallas roofing company in business more than a decade. They handle residential or commercial properties. And those weird insurance forms that seem to be written in a foreign language? Oh, hail can simplify those for you also. So the next time something happens to your roof, just say, oh, hail. O-H-A-A-I-L. OHail.com. Iceland is known as the land of fire and ice, and unfortunately, that's happening right now. Iceland's been in the news recently because one of its 3 volcanoes has erupted in a little town way off the edge of the island, right in the far southwest, called Grindavik. Everything in Iceland has a Vik
At the end. Yes.
Everything. The volcano has created about a 2-yard wide split in the ground. And the people who know these things told the people of Grindavik to get out. They don't know when they'll get back in. And maybe the word is never. But there's more happening. That was about a month ago. Just the day before yesterday, there were 125 small earthquakes in one day.
Oh, so I didn't hear about that.
Yes.
Good to know.
And there's fear of another eruption. Now, normally you'd think, well, Grindavik's way off near the coast and things like that. But Grindavik is only 25 miles from the capital of Reykjavik.
Yes. And very close to the airport.
Very close to Keflavik. There's another Vik, which is where you fly in. That's where the airport is. And even closer to the #1 tourist attraction in Iceland, the Blue Lagoon.
Yes, the Blue Lagoon, which we never got a chance to get to.
Our flight got screwed up when we missed our reservation. And you're saying, wait a minute, a reservation to go swim? Yes. The Blue Lagoon is so popular that you have to make reservations and you have a time slot.
That's right.
When you can arrive at the Blue Lagoon. But that's the place to go. Land in Keflavik and then drive to the Blue Lagoon. And driving is the key in Iceland because they have one of the most spectacular roads we have ever driven.
Oh, the Ring Road of Iceland. Yes.
It is truly a ring around Iceland. The road goes all the way around the island. On your right will always be the water. The North Atlantic, the Greenland Sea, the Straits of Denmark. There's always on your right into the inland waterfalls,
Yes.
glaciers,
Yes.
mountains.
Mountains.
Wonderful, wonderful place. We would really recommend driving Iceland. Now, how do you get there? Easy. You fly to New York, then you switch to Iceland Air and take the flight to Reykjavik, actually Keflavik. It's about 6 hours, and you land early in the morning. So what you can do is land, get your coffee, rent your car, and hit the ring road.
Exactly. And that was our plan. But our plan was to go to the Blue Lagoon to refresh ourselves. They have spa there. You get into all those warm water, all the natural healing waters, but didn't happen.
Yeah, we missed it all.
But we had our coffee and
you-
hit the ring road.
You won't miss it. You'll love driving the ring road, and you'll love the Blue Lagoon. Now, if it takes 6 days, you ought to make your reservation thinking 1 day, stop, 1 day, stop, things like that as you go around the ring road. And it's perfect for that, absolutely perfect. Now, the first thing, I guess, from the major attractions you get to is a waterfall called Selfoss. Now, it's giant and gorgeous. There's only one problem, and that was the time we went to Iceland.
Yes.
If you go in April, which is when we went, you can get 2 different Icelands. Number one is this beautiful Iceland in the spring as it's starting to green up. Or you can catch the last incredibly nasty storm of the winter.
Which we caught.
When we got to Selfoss, this wonderful attraction, there's usually hundreds, sometimes thousands of people at this gigantic waterfall. When we got there, we were the only 2.
Nobody. Nobody was there.
Nobody at all. We pulled into the parking lot. There was not a car in the parking lot.
Everyone was at the diner.
Yes.
Yeah, drinking hot coffee.
But if you go around the ring road, you get these massive waterfalls, raging rivers. I think one of our favorite places to stop was a glacier lagoon, where the small glaciers, the icebergs, break off the inland glacier, and they simply float in this pond.
Yeah.
Because they can't get out to the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, absolutely stunning.
Yeah, the road cuts them off, and it's stunning. And Mary got right down to the edge of this pond with all the glaciers to take pictures. But it's a beautiful, beautiful place. As you continue around Iceland, we caught a really bad storm. And Norm made the decision that we would take a shortcut to get to the place we were trying to get to, because they told us, you're not going to get there tomorrow, a place called Egilstadir. There's Vicks and there's Stadders.
You just add a Vic or a Stogger to the end of anything and you're good.
So, and getting off the ring road, we took this shortcut through the mountains. First of all, it was spectacular.
It was beautiful. And to be fair, to back up, we did have people that suggested the shortcut to us, and it would save how much time off of our journey?
Oh, at least an hour or two, and with the storm coming in, it might save us a whole day.
Right. So they recommended that, or to go around would take a lot longer.
We went through that was one of the best moments I've ever had in our journeys. Mm-hmm. We got to the top of the mountains because the road goes over the glacier and over the top of the mountains. There was nobody up there. Nothing. There was not a mark in the snow. It was a perfect...
It was beautiful.
Oh,
I mean, climbing the journey, that was a little intimidating, to be honest with you, because we're in a storm, and we'll have pictures of that too that you can see. Complete storm. I could not see at all, like 25 feet in front of me, so I didn't really know where I was driving. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this car comes and is in front of me, and I'm following these taillights. I don't know where this car came from. It was amazing. It was God sent, I've got to tell you. And then all of a sudden we clear and we're on the top of the mountain and it's sunny and it's beautiful, and it was amazing.
It was a fantastic time up there. Mm-hmm. By the way, the road's about a lane and a half wide. So keep your eye out for somebody coming the other way. As you swing around the top of Iceland, you get to an area where you can see the northern lights. That's another one of the big attractions of Iceland. And you can go up and go fishing in the Sea of Greenland. And Iceland is so far north that it actually touches the Arctic Circle, which they're very proud to tell you, by the way, with clothing and everything else, 66 degrees north. But then you get to the second biggest city in Iceland, a place called Akureyri.
Oh, I loved this city.
It's great.
Oh, great restaurants, great food,
Great architecture.
great architecture,
there's-
great people, everything.
Everything was great. This was another one of the moments of our journey that we'd like to tell you about. We haven't in past segments told you that we'd recommend at times hiring a guide. Not for long. We hire guides one day at a time, basically. We hired one in Iceland because Mary wanted to take a trip. Well, I encouraged Mary to take a trip to the ice caves because Mary is a spectacular photographer. We get this guy, Bjarki. He was terrific.
Yeah,
We drive
he was a native.
native. Oh, yes.
Yeah, of course.
Saga Travel, by the way, is who Bjarki worked for. And we turn off the road onto no road. And as we start across what appears to be pasture land, I said to Bjarki, "Is this our road?" And he said to me, "No, this is our route." We then travel half an hour, more.
It was a half an hour.
And
He
we-
gets out, he deflates the tires.
Oh, it's crazy. And we're dodging little ice pools as we're driving along this land. And then we get to a high point, and he pulls up on the high point and says, "This is where we leave you." Now, I knew he and Mary are going to walk to the ice cave. I'm not very good on ice on lava
slippery
fields.
ice. Maybe not this time. But Norm was a trooper because he knew that he was going to sit in the car. And did he leave the keys with you?
He left the keys so I could turn the car on every few minutes just to heat it up a little bit.
I mean, in the freezing cold, Norm is sitting there, and he had a hot coffee
Yep.
A thermos of hot coffee. He was fine.
So Mary and Bjarki take off across lava fields covered with snow and ice.
Yes, very slippery.
Pretty
and and Bjarki, man, he's just like, he's walking so fast, and I'm walking on it. You could tell he was so used to it, and I was a little bit slower, but
Well,
it was fun.
they disappear. And I knew they'd be gone for a long time. And Bjarki had told me maybe 2.5 hours. Okay, before we get to time again, you walk the half an hour and you get to a little trailer
Yes.
that has what in it? A headlamp?
It had crampons, headlamps. I think that was about it. Yeah,
Okay.
just the crampons and headlamps.
Okay, then you walk to what amounts to a hole in the ground?
We walked to a hole in the ground,
It's an ice cave.
a big hole. It was a big hole.
Now, this cave wasn't discovered until the 1990s.
Yeah, it's recently discovered ice cave, and it was quite amazing. So after we got our crampons on, Bjarki and I walked into this big hole in the ground. I would say it was about maybe 30 feet in diameter, and there's a ladder going down. And so we go down in the ladder, and
Now you're descending into darkness.
we're
at this
descending
point,
into
okay?
darkness. Of course, he's got the headlamps, and I have my headlamp. And then what we do is once we get into that hole, crawl down into that hole, then the smaller hole, we have to actually pull ourselves through a rope.
So you literally pull yourself through another hole into a cavern, pulling yourself through with a rope.
Yes.
I can't imagine the beauty down there. Mary got some shots that were just, we show them to friends and people say, what is that? And it's literally an underground river that never thaws with big stalactites and stalagmites.
And I always get those mixed up.
Me
I don't
too.
know which is the mite and the tite, which one hangs and which one comes up, but
I can't help you.
maybe somebody out there can.
What an adventure. But I'm sitting there and it starts to get about 3 hours and suddenly it occurs to me, wait a minute. God help us, but what if something's happened to them? How do I tell anybody? I might be able to drive the vehicle, but where am I? We're out in the middle of nowhere at the foot of a mountain range in Iceland, but thankfully they came back and we enjoyed 2 days in Akureyri.
Yes.
It's
my
a great
gosh.
place.
With the great food, the great shopping, everything.
A
So
restaurant called Rub 23.
good. Oh, I think we went there twice.
We did.
We liked it so much.
You continue then around the north and around, you drop back on the west side and you get back to Reykjavik, the capital, and then to Keflavik, the airport, and fly home. It's one of my favorite places ever.
Oh my gosh. I would go back, would you?
I would go back for sure.
I think we should. I think we should plan it.
It's a wonderful 1 week trip. Fly to New York, fly to Iceland, drive the ring road, fly back.
Right. And driving the ring road, you of course stay in like different inns and things like that. A lot of places have great bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, great food. Oh my gosh, great hospitality.
Now, you're thinking, a place with a lot of ice, a lot of winter. What must that road be like? The ring road quite possibly could be the best road in Dallas, Texas.
And yeah, it's very safe. Yeah.
It's safe. There's not a single pothole anywhere. It's wonderful to drive on. It's got this weatherized surface. Do they ever keep that thing clean?
Yes, they do. They keep it clean. They have like numbers to call if you need help. It's safe. It's fun.
We would go back to Iceland, and we'd recommend it for you too. Now again, be careful the time you go, but even though we caught that winter storm, we loved it. We felt pretty proud of ourselves getting back home,
We did. Yeah.
surviving a winter storm in Iceland.
Yeah. Let's go again.
Again,
Cheers to that.
cheers to that.
Today's episode has been brought to you by Fluent Financial, by Oh Hell Roofing, and by Goodness Steak Seasoning.
Just Wondering is a production of DSP Media for FanStream Sports. You can find Norm's show along with other great programming at fanstreamsports.com.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Just Wondering. If you enjoyed it, please hit follow. Then each episode every weekday will be delivered straight to you. And if we might ask one more favor, please share it with friends. I'm Norm Hitzges, and every day I'll be just wondering about something.
And I'm Mary Hitchkus, and I'm just wondering too.